Electricast.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome, explorers of the human experience. This is Let's Talk Soul, and I'm your host, Claudia Monticelli. We're not afraid of the great mysteries of existence here. Soul versus consciousness, we're on it. Spirituality versus science, we've got that covered too. Join us in navigating these profound topics with wisdom, curiosity, and a dash of audacity. Whether you're a spiritual veteran or just starting your journey, Let's Talk Soul is your passport to the unknown. Let's Talk Soul, diving into the depths of the human spirit. Subscribe now wherever you get your podcasts. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Claudia Monticelli, of this podcast, Let's Talk Soul. And I know that I always start by saying, today I have a special guest. Well, I won't say that, but he is special. I'm here with Beau Williams. He's speaking to us from Nevada. Say hello to our audience, Beau.
Hello, guys. How are you?
All right. So I'll give you a little bit about his background, and then he'll just start telling us everything, really. He was born in Palo Alto, California, where he was a four-sport athlete in high school. However, what often happens, a football injury led him to complete a postgraduate year at Phillips Academy in Andover, Massachusetts, where he first discovered his passion for acting and playwriting. He went on to attend the University of Colorado, where he played tight end, won a Big 12 championship, and earned a degree in communication. And it was there that he took his first screenwriting course and began writing screenplays. Now, he moved to Los Angeles and kept writing, but let's get right to the writing. He has a debut memoir, 1 Year With My Soulmate, and I will point to that bit of information and all of his socials and website in the description of this episode. Well, let's start by asking Beau, what's a nice boy like you doing in Nevada?
Well, I'm actually in Denver.
Colorado.
I'm in Colorado.
It's the same time difference for me.
I moved out here to chaperone my buddy's son, who is in his senior year of football, and he's from the state of Alaska. This is a teammate of mine from college. And,
so when you say chaperone, what does that mean for a young athlete?
That means that his father has stayed back, and his father and his mother have stayed back in the state of Alaska. Nobody really recruits the state of Alaska, so he needed someone to live out here with to showcase his talents for the rest of the country.
And what does he play? What position does he play?
He's a wide receiver, and it's actually ironic. He reminds me a lot of myself when I was his age, and I had actually gone and repeated my senior year at Phillips Academy to showcase myself because I tore my knee up my senior year. So it's interesting to kind of go through this experience and feel like I'm watching myself as an athlete 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's nice. It's
or
good
25
feedback.
years ago.
It's a learning experience for you as well. Now, from there, there's this mushrooming of writing the memoir. It's called a memoir, part of your life, where a certain person came into your life. But there's also a lot of different work that you do. I see here movement, breath work, spiritual practices. When did that start? When did the beautiful athlete turn into the spiritual guru?
Well, that happened initially. My girlfriend, Melanie, was training to become a breathwork facilitator.
And, with you?
Not training with me. She was training with a man by the name of David Elliott, who's out of Ojai. who I've actually seen on multiple occasions. And she had put me through my first breathwork session. And it was in Ojai that we actually did the session. It was on our second date. And all of a sudden, as I'm breathing, all of these memories come up from my past. And I start having some tears that start pouring out.
Well, give me an example of the memories, just if you remember, if you don't mind sharing.
We just talked about how I felt like I've been watching myself as I've been going through this experience with my buddy's son, and I just felt like a failure. I felt like there was things in my life that I took for granted, or every time I had really gone all in on something that had meant a lot to me, I had come up short of what it is that I was looking to achieve out of it. And Melanie said, she goes, "You're not a failure," and it was. She said, "You've done all those things." She goes, "Most people never even get to do all those things." And I got injured at the University of Colorado, and I didn't have the career that I would have wanted to have, and that was my childhood dream. I had an okay career. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't what you want to have out of it. And then I made a film that I wrote the screenplay for, and in the New York Times and the LA Times, it had said that I underwrote the script. And I didn't underwrite the script. What does that mean,
underwrite the script?
They just said that there wasn't enough there. And it was a 108-page script that we ended up cutting down to 68 pages because we didn't have the money to shoot the full 108 pages. And then I did a music festival in Bali. And when I landed on the island, a volcano warning was announced. Literally as I...
People have to stay away from you.
Yeah.
You're in trouble.
As I landed, and that was a big financial loss for me. The festival went on, and it was great. And I then Mel kind of led me. She says, "I want you to go see my breathwork teacher." So I went and saw him, and he told me something. I remember catching my first touchdown at the University of Colorado, and I crossed the goal line. And my initial thought reaction was like, "Wow, all that hard work for this? This is it?
Is that all there is?" Yeah.
When I told him that, he says, "Beau, that wasn't a lack of gratitude for what you had achieved. That was your soul explaining to you that you're meant for something so much greater."
Yeah. Okay.
And that was an eye-opening experience for me. And he right that immediately then, and this is before Melanie took her life. But this is when we were still together.
So this is the woman who became your partner took her life. We didn't talk about this. Perhaps you would like to talk about that and mention it now?
Yeah, I'll get to that. I just kind of want to finish the train of thought on where I was at with David telling me I was meant for something greater. I kind of told him some of the ideas that I had, the writing ideas that I had, and he'd asked me, he said, "Are you a writer?" Before I even mentioned it to him, Melanie had told me that he was clairvoyant. And I said, yeah. And he had explained that he thought that, you're meant for something much greater. And when he then went on to tell me a story about a client of his, I told him some ideas that I had, but I kind of lost my luster after the movie didn't pan out the way that I wanted it to. And he said, I had a client who had an idea about a book that he wanted to write about a rich Asian family. And he goes, and I encouraged him to write that book against his own desires. He goes, you know what that book turned out to be? And I said, what? He said, Crazy Rich Asians. And so that was kind of always in the back of my mind. And I'll get to, Melanie was struggling with, she was sexually abused when she was 4 years old. Nothing was ever done about it. That trauma was suppressed. She was at 15 years old. She started taking a sexual interest in boys for the first time when she went to high school. And so
when did you meet her? At what age was she?
She was 25 or 24 when I met her. And that abuse trauma started coming up for her at 15, and she was having a difficult time focusing in school. And so
Yeah.
she was prescribed Adderall,
Mm.
which she was on for 15 years.
Mm.
And at 30 years old, she was on 80 milligrams of Adderall a day and in a toxic relationship with a man that was 18 years older than her. Realized she needed to get out of the relationship, off the Adderall. She found breath work, and through breath work, she started activating her intuition. And she realized that the lack of focus, her inability to focus, wasn't actually ADHD. It was depression that was connected to the sexual abuse trauma that she never dealt with. And that sexual abuse energy that got into her when she was younger was the same toxic energy in her ex-boyfriend that she was attracted to.
So then this person fell into your life. How long had you met her? I mean, how long had you known her?
So I was a nightlife promoter in Santa Monica for a very long time. And
What does that mean? What does that mean?
That means that it's gathering people, booking DJs, booking talent, and gathering people
together to attend. Mm-hmm.
So I had met her, and of all the women that walked through the doors of all the events I threw, which was over 1,000 events, the moment that I locked eyes with Melanie, there was this magnetic connection, like I'd known her, even though we had never met. And that persisted for about 8 years. And we got close right before her relationship with her ex-boyfriend. We got close to actually working on something for us, and it never came through. And I kind of said my goodbyes, and she came back around after she was able to heal. And our first date was on May 16th of 2023.
Yeah.
And she took her life in my bedroom with my shotgun on May 18th of 2024. And she was kind of the one that introduced me to breathwork, and then I used breathwork to recover from her loss. And that traumatic experience that I went through, combined with going deeper into that soul-searching process, which breathwork was a part of. But my daily routine, I left LA. I actually worked with multiple mediums prior to, right after she had passed.
What do you mean multiple mediums?
Multiple psychic mediums.
Oh, psychic mediums to communicate with her.
Yeah, the first one said that he wouldn't do a reading for at least 1 year after somebody has passed, because you might not like what the other person has to say coming across the veil. And but he did say, he goes, your home has been violated. You need to reset your soul. I recommend getting out of Los Angeles for a minimum of 22 days. And so I went to Bali, and I was waking up with the sun every day, doing HIIT fitness for an hour. I was in so much pain. There's a lot of guilt because it was my shotgun.
Sure.
And I was doing HIIT fitness every morning. Then I was doing ice baths after that. I was eating clean, and I was doing breath work 2-3 times a day. It was the only thing that made me feel better, was going in and actually clearing the energy in my energy centers.
Oh, it's good that you were able to do that with the breath work on your own.
She was the one that had left me that tool. But I would put on David Elliott, her teacher, has, on Spotify, he has a 28-minute meditation. And that 28-minute meditation 2 to 3 times a day was what was getting me through the trauma of what I was going through. But I feel like the moment she took her life, all of her trauma was, when I found her, was transferred over to me. And I was beginning to feel what it is that she was going through. And I will say this, like, she at a certain point didn't feel like she had the support that she needed from people that were close to her in order to pursue her passion, which was to become her new passion, which was the last stage in her healing process, which was to become a facilitator of breathwork to help other young girls who were struggling with addiction and abuse energy. And she didn't feel like she had the support. We were working on writing her story in January of 2024. And I called her my butterfly. We were at a concert, a Portugal the Man concert at the Hollywood Bowl. And I said, I need a nickname for you. And we had just seen this band called I can't remember
Oh,
the
it
name of
doesn't
it,
matter.
but I ended up saying, you were like a caterpillar in a cocoon
Right.
for your entire life for 30 years, and then you found breath work, and now you have these big, beautiful butterfly wings, and
Yeah.
you're ready to take a flight. So I
So
wrote this
wait,
story.
we're at the books now. We're at the books, but because the first was the butterfly effect after the soulmate book, your memoir.
Yeah, that was, well, I had, so I'm working on her website with her, and I told her that she should call her breathwork practice Butterfly Breathwork. I said, it's brandable. You can do butterfly eye pillows. And I wrote this story, which was a metaphor of a caterpillar that had transformed into a butterfly and cleared all this toxic abuse energy after she found breathwork. And so I wrote this story for her. In the about section, she goes, my family's going to hate this. I can't do this.
And what family did she have? I'm laughing because I could have told you that before you took those words out and said them. I was saying them in my mind. What family members are still alive for her?
Mom, dad, 3 sisters and brother.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
It was a very, very tight-knit family.
Wow.
And she didn't feel she had the support. And so what she did is, unbeknownst to me.
Well, the holidays have come and gone once again. But if you've forgotten to get that special someone in your life a gift, well, Mint Mobile is extending their holiday offer of half off unlimited wireless. So here's the idea. You get it now. You call it an early present for next year. What do you have to lose? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Limited time 50% off regular price for new customers. Upfront payment required. $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds may slow after 50 gigabytes per month when network is busy. See terms.
She went back on the Adderall in February of 2024, and by May it took her out.
Yeah.
It took her out in 3 months. And I had no idea that she was back on the Adderall until after she had passed. I found that out through her family. So my kind of awakening in Bali, I said, you know what? I want to finish what she started. And in order to do that, I need to share her story. So the book was kind of the first step that opens the door to Mel's story. And the second step is, okay, butterfly breathwork was what kind of I envisioned for her. But how do I create something that's in line with that, but that adds some of the things that I had incorporated into my healing routine, which were the HIIT fitness and the ice baths. So butterfly breathwork has now been pushed back a couple of times. The first one I'm planning.
Interrupt you because you're talking about breathwork. You did say you had met David Elliott, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever thought of or actually did contact him to develop this butterfly breath work in her footsteps? Did you do that or think of that, or are you still on your own?
I talked to him about that. He's a very busy guy. He's got a bunch of retreats of his own that he's doing. Sure. Like I said, I've been a promoter, an event coordinator, an event producer for a very long time.
Yes.
So at some point I would like to go to him and actually learn how to facilitate breath work. But what I've always been good at is putting the pieces together to make an event work. So I've got a breathwork facilitator in Bali. I've got a HIIT fitness instructor in Bali, and I feel confident enough that I can put people through the ice baths. So I've got all the pieces in place to make this thing happen. And I've contracted Alchemy Yoga, which is in Uluwatu, which is where I actually I've had abilities that have opened up.
Yeah.
As I've gone through this process. And the first thing that I noticed was that Melanie was communicating with me across the veil, and she was using music to do so. But I always remember that look that I told you about the first time that she walked into the club, and all the women that I've met in my life, and how there was this magnetic connection with her.
Yeah.
I had a realization at Alchemy Yoga, where we're hosting the breathwork portion of the retreat, that Melanie and I were my great-grandparents. And my great-grandfather, William Pellegrini Williams, was a tuberculosis doctor that died at 32 years old. And Melanie was my wife, Lucille. And Lucille lost me in our past life when I was 32 years old, and I lost Melanie in this life when she was 32 years old, and this was the completion of some kind of a karmic cycle.
Actual family in
soul
past
family,
lives.
yeah.
At least one family, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we were married. We were married in a past life, and my grandfather Marty was our child. And when I worked with Erin, the angel, who was the second medium I worked with, she said, "So Melanie's on your right, and did you lose a grandfather?" And I said, "Yeah, my grandpa Marty." And once we figured out that it was him, because he showed her some images, she said she's showing me an image of Joe Biden that she goes, "I'm not political, but he just wasn't fleet of foot." And my grandpa Marty, he had jet white slick back hair, just like Biden. And he was a shuffler. He was a shuffler with his feet. And I started laughing. I'm like, wow, that's him to a T. So I knew that it was him. She said, "I don't know if you know this, but he's been with you since the accident." And I ended up figuring out he was not only with me since the accident as a spirit guide for me, but he was also there to help his to help his mother transition.
Yeah, there is presence, of course. As a spirit guide, that's a whole different a ball game, if we want to use that metaphor. We have spirit guides, 4 to 6 come to us depending on how independent we are, and they aren't usually relatives. Your story begs the question then, do you, or are you not yet, I imagine, are you open to finding love again?
Yeah, I've been receiving messages that there will be another love in my life, and that Melanie and my grandfather are going to come back as twins, as my children, which is baffling to me. I am trying to get myself to a place where I'm open to that. It's been about 16 months now.
Well,
and
it's short period, yeah.
I've come a long way, but I have not come close to being ready to date.
Right, sure.
Since that's happened.
Mm-hmm. Is there? I want to in some way move the conversation. Your story is very much linked to Melanie, very, very much. And I'm wondering why that is. Why isn't Beau Williams telling me, "I've just planned out a book about my sports life," hoping that will encourage young men and women to not put all their eggs in the same bag. I'm just, flying by the seat of my pants here talking, but to me, I see not a whole, but something that there is. You keep talking about the events, the event planners and things like that. And that's a big part of your life. And plus every event is an event. So you're learning so much and doing so much and meeting so many people. But the writing process it's really soul work. And I'm wondering if it will move away, just like a new love in your life, if it will move away from Melanie sometime in the future.
Well, I have other projects that I'm working on.
Come on, tell us. Is it too early to talk about?
No, not at all. I am
Okay.
I am a creative by nature,
Okay.
and I have been in the event business for a long time, like I said. So I've built a customer relationship management tool for the event space.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like Facebook events meets Eventbrite, where you can manage all your data on the back end. You can collect RSVPs,
It's
and
a
people
program.
can buy tickets.
Is it an app? Or
It's a website. It's a website and an app. It's called eventreply.com. It's simple. It speaks for itself, but it allows people who, whether you're a yoga teacher, a nightclub owner, a restaurateur, whatever, it allows you to manage your data and promote your events to your database with the press of a button that sends everybody a text message.
Yeah.
And so I've been working on that for about 2 years. And I've got this vision that at some point, the data that I'm able to collect from that engine, I've been working in a low vibrational space for a long time in nightlife. And I'm just now kind of getting into this high vibrational world.
Higher,
and Melanie was a catalyst for that.
Right.
As you can see, this transition that's happening. So she is a big piece of that. And the book is also part of that. And this all can come together to where I want to do a different kind of music festival where, like I said, Melanie has brought me a lot of music. Mm-hmm. And I want to take some of those musicians, put them on a lineup, and have a festival with energy workers, Reiki healers, mediums, yoga teachers, HIIT fitness instructors, where it's more of a high vibrational experience. The one thing that I'm trying to figure out is how to make it work financially without having alcohol involved, because typically in the event space, like I've been in events for 20 years. Alcohol is the piece that you make your profit on. So how do I create something where you can eliminate the alcohol and have it be a place where people can come together to dance and celebrate music and experience readings or HIIT fitness classes, doing things that are high vibrational in a community setting, in a large scale community setting. And I feel like everything that I'm working on will tie together to help me bring that to life at some point down the road.
I'm wondering, what does it take for Beau Williams to wake up one morning and say, I'm there. Okay, today is different. Today I have the answer. I know that my next event will be successful because I found the way to finance it through A, B, C, D, because, as you're talking and you talked about alcohol, trying not to base it around alcohol where you make the money. And I'm thinking, why not? Let's talk spirituality now. The yin and yang symbol has the dark and light. Light because dark is there. When you're talking about spirituality, you know what high vibration feels like because low vibration there as well. That expression, the devil made me do it, or the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I mean, how much fun is that? I mean, sometimes you just have to remember that there are two sides to every single coin, and life is made of decisions. And we really can't take that away from life, the ability to have to make decisions. Our life is based on the decisions we make. So if I do, and I'm here again, flying by the seat of my pants, I'm pantsy here. If I take away the alcohol, it's like, in a way, playing God, all right? And I don't say that lightly, because we all have a right to be here. Okay, of course you don't want to organize an event that will blow up half of the people at the event because something doesn't work or the electricity burns out or something. But it may be counterproductive if you work and reason by way of exclusion instead of inclusion. I don't know, something else comes to mind. An event where the prostitutes are there, but the what do you call them? They go on with short pants and up to their knees. What are they? They go hiking and camping. I was never one because they were for boys. Oh, Boy Scouts.
Boy Scouts?
Okay, yeah. So you have an event that is more, is open to different people from different backgrounds. Of course, that's just a stupid example, but it seems to me, I'm just throwing it out there. I have, of course, organized events many, but not in the sense that you are. I would organize them for special purposes and, in my field. So, but here, the idea of getting people to pay for the event and sponsoring the event, isn't that a big part of what you do? Look for sponsors?
Life is hard, but finding a really great podcast makes the days go by so much easier. Hi, my name is Blue Telusma. I'm a writer, an emotional intelligence coach, and the host of Humanize with Blue Telusma, a podcast where we believe that when you humanize everyone in the room, a great conversation is almost guaranteed. Join us every week here on Electricast as me and my guest co-hosts unpack big topics and interview even bigger personalities with a sense of humor and a dash of mischief. If you're looking for a new best friend in your head, we've got you covered. Electricast.
Sponsorship has never been my strength. My strength has been in lining up the talent and putting together and I like to compare promoting to wrangling cats. So I specialize in wrangling cats, which very few people have, can figure out how to do. That's one thing that I've figured out how to do. And I understand what you're saying. I've wrestled with that idea, the idea of exclusion, but I'm also big into energy, and you don't want to, I guess you would just hope that the high vibrational energy in the space will be stronger than the low vibrational energy, but still like one or two people can ruin the experience for everybody.
Yeah.
And
that's
so
true.
I've wrestled with that idea, and how do I get there? You start small. You don't just raise a bunch of money and go out and go huge on your first attempt. So I'm starting small with just the butterfly effect retreat that I have, with the hope that over the course of time, it can grow into the butterfly effect festival, from a retreat into a festival.
With all of the people it makes me think, well, don't you know someone who would be able to partner with you to bring in funds, finding people who sponsor the events? There's got to be. I mean, some people are just good with that, financing things, and they're like magnets,
I could bring somebody in to partner with you on that, but again, I need proof of concept first. So I need to start small, grow it. You can't just say, "Oh, I want to." You can. It's
you got to talk to Melanie
harder.
more. See what she says about that.
Yeah,
she's good. I'm trying to think. When I saw in your publications here the things that are written about you, and you did start to communicate with her mutually. You communicate, and she's on the other side, or on the other side of the veil, or what. And it's fascinating, isn't it? Isn't it fascinating? And the interesting thing about communicating with people who are no longer in flesh and blood is that it starts inevitably around the notion and the actual experience of love. And that's very hard for many people to understand. I mean, how many people do you know that just cry and cry and cry and cry because their mother just passed and she wanted to get, they wanted to get to talk to her, but they didn't, they forgot to say, and if the balance, if you're able to use, like you do, breath work with it for the purpose of finding balance, that the pain is not stronger than the love that's felt, the communication comes. That's so difficult to teach people, but it's an extremely interesting experience. Of course, maybe you, Beau, would not be interested, of course, in being a psychic medium. I mean, you have Melanie to talk to. Why would you want to go listen to all of those voices that come from the other side? But it's interesting. It's interesting. And why I'm saying this to you is not to belittle or diminish what's happening and what you're going through, but just to show you that it's one of so many other messages that you can get. Let me see if this might not be foreign to you. Of all of the experiences that you've had, have you ever come across the notion of the Akashic records? You might want to look that up. I'll write that to you in an email.
I actually have. So on my podcast, Sunflower Signals, I had a guy named Bill Foss who specializes in the Akashic records. I had him on as a guest, and I also talk about the Akashic records in the book, where I've had communication with more spirits than just Good. Melanie and Erin, the angel, who's one of my mentors, because I keep sending her clients, and she says, Beau, you might be ready to start taking on these clients yourself. And
yes. But it depends, what you want to do.
I said, I got to get through what I'm going through first before before I'm ready for that. And I need to, there's places you can go to lean into, or people that teach you how to better work with energy. And right now I've pretty much just been figuring it out for myself.
Isn't it funny that someone who has been an athlete most of their life says, I'm just starting to learn about how to work with energy? It's humorous if you listen,
Well, I guess it's a different kind. It's a kind of energy that I didn't know existed.
Right.
You always you hear about it and you think about it, but I'll tell you the way that the communication opened with Melanie and I is about 2 weeks after she had passed. This is after her funeral. And I'm staying back in my house in our bedroom where I found her for the first time. And I go through a 28-minute breathwork meditation. And at the end of the meditation, I just said, you know what I'm going to ask? And I said, Mel, are you here? And this euphoric shot of electricity just charged through all the energy centers in my body.
Yeah.
And I was blown away. And I realized I could ask her yes or no questions. Kind of like the dowsing rods.
Yeah,
I could get the response. I could get the yes response in my body through all of my energy centers.
Of course. I just to share this little story with you. I know a lot of psychics. Of course, I am myself. And one of them said, put on when you go to bed in one area of the house, put on a recorder that's very sensitive, digital recorder somewhere. And see, you'll be able to hear spirits. And of course, the next morning I went and I was, and I was going crazy. And I thought, and this was a long time ago. And then I said to myself, okay, in this lifetime, will I ever be able to walk through walls? I'm not sure if I'll be able to do that in this lifetime. But it's, maybe the thought of it can help you. I'm not sure. We are human, of course. I get that. And that's heavy enough. I mean, being human is a lot of weight, let's put it that way. And we all have so much more to go through. And just when you think, they say you make plans and God laughs. And that's true. But it's frightening. Oh my God, I'm doing this now. Where am I going to end up? What's going, what is going to, come down further down the line, and you are a person with so many interests. And of course, that's a catalyst to other things. It's fascinating to hear this story. And if you were to suggest to listeners which of your books would be best to start out with?
Well, so I've got 1 Year With My Soulmate is the book that's out now. The second book will be Sunflower Signals, which I have not written yet, but I got 1 Year With My Soulmate out on the 1 year anniversary of Melanie's passing. So that was while I was doing the breath work and the HIIT fitness and the ice baths. I was writing and journaling when I was awake, when I wasn't doing those other things. So it was a complete part of my healing routine. I'd say start with that one because the other one's not ready yet. I haven't finished it yet.
Okay, that's an easy choice.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see if we can leave a message for people who are stricken with grief or who are not as in tune. What would you, what kind of message would you leave for listeners? The most important that you have learned in your life?
I think the most important thing that I've learned is that love doesn't die. Our time here as Beau and Claudia is a hop, skip, and a jump in the journey of our soul. And if you can reframe grief into lessons, what am I meant to learn from this? That I think is something that has worked really well for me. And there's tools. I mean, obviously, I'm not naive. You're going to go through some pain, but there's tools to help you manage the pain. One is moving your body, whether it's even bicycling or walking or getting out in nature or breath work. I'd say pull up davidelliott.com, check out his website. He has a bunch of different retreats that you can go to and learn how to do it yourself, or you can watch YouTube videos and figure out how. We have all the tools at our fingertips to figure out how to do things. I've taught myself many different things on YouTube. So if you don't have the resources to be able to pay for a practitioner, you can find something online that can help you do it.
And you're so used to moving the body, and that's true. But what another suggestion is actual singing or speaking, the vocal cords vibrating allows you, well, so many cultures chant, and that is a fast way to raising your vibration, believe it or not. And that's another thing. But, well, I hope we have the chance to meet again and we'll talk when the next book comes out. Who knows? Beau, it was such a pleasure to talk to you today. Thank you for taking the time to visit us.
Claudia, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right. We'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to follow Let's Talk Soul Podcast on Instagram. Let's Talk Soul Podcast is a production of Electrocast Media. Our executive producers are Mark Netter and Peter Rafelson. If you like our show and like what you hear, please subscribe and give us a rating wherever you enjoy podcasts. And remember, stay curious, stay inspired, and never stop exploring the depths of your soul.
Welcome to Transforming 45, the podcast that celebrates the incredible power of passionate voices. I'm your host, Lisa Boat. Join me in conversation with heart-led humans who share their deeply personal stories of transformation. Transforming 45 is here to uplift, connect, and remind you that it's never too late to write your next chapter. So get ready to be inspired, empowered, and transformed. Join me in this community where through powerful storytelling, we heal and reclaim our inherent magic.
Electricast.